Welcome, dear student, to our new video lecture. So, in the previous classes, we have discussed substitution, elimination, and reaction with metals. Okay. The nucleophilic substitution reaction that we discussed was totally focused on alkyl halides. Now, in today's class, we will see that how nucleophilic substitution can take place in aryl halides. Okay. First of all, we will see that whether it can happen or not, means if the reaction will take place or it cannot happen. So, substitution, nucleophilic substitution in haloarenes. Okay, that means benzene substituted compounds. So, the first thing is nucleophilic substitution in haloarenes are almost impossible. You can say that they do not show nucleophilic substitution, or you can say it's very difficult. It's very difficult in haloarenes to carry out a nucleophilic substitution reaction. Okay, so now, like previous classes, we would like to know the reason why this is so, why nucleophilic substitution is difficult in haloarenes. So there are basically four reasons. The first reason is the partial or a double bond nature between C and X bond. That means when we draw alkyl halide, we see that this bond is single bond. We actually write the Lewis structure to be a single bond, but actually this bond has a partial double bond character. Due to resonance, I have to show you how resonance occurs in this compound, I have drawn all these four structures. Okay, and you can see that these lone pairs will move due to the conjugation, because lone pairs are also considered as pi electrons. Lone pair, negative charge, I have discussed in class 11 that whenever there is a negative charge or there is a lone pair, we will consider them to be a pi electron. So pi, sigma, pi, sigma, pi, sigma, it's a conjugated system. So since there is conjugation, we can draw resonating structures. So this electron will move to the next bond. This is atom to bond and then bond to atom. Okay, we will get our first resonance structure. The rest resonance structure you can practice yourself, but the main thing is after the first step we see that there is a double bond between X and the carbon atom. What it shows that the pi electron is not localized. It's not localized on the halogen atom. That means it's not static. Okay, we assume this structure to be a fixed structure, but it's not like that. Okay, so the effect will be that it will create a partial double bond between halogen and carbon atom. Now think yourself that there is a single bond and you have to break it. Okay, in order to substitute halogen with nucleophile, okay, what we want to remove this X and we want a nucleophile to take its space. To do that, I have to remove X. That means I have to break this bond. Okay, so it's easy to break a single bond, but since we see that due to resonance, this single bond acquires a partial double bond structure. Okay, it's not completely double bond, but it is somewhat, it has double bond characters. So obviously I can break this maybe using some force, but if I combine these two, it will take a lot of effort to break this. Okay, more energy is required to break a double bond. So since it has a partial bond structure, so the first reason why nucleophilic substitution is difficult in haloarenes, the first reason is because the carbon halogen has a partial double bond structure due to the resonance. Okay, so this is the first reason. Next reason, the next reason is sp2 hybridized carbon. Okay, what is sp2 hybridized carbon, sp3 hybridized carbon? So in alkyl halides we saw that we wrote alkyl halide like this. Okay, this carbon has 4 single bonds, so it has a sp3 hybridization. Okay, it has a sp3 hybridization. But if you check this carbon, you will easily see that this carbon has 3 different atoms connected to it. So it is obviously a sp2 hybridized carbon. Okay, and we know that sp2 hybridized carbon is more electronegative than sp3 hybridized carbon. So it can, pull the nearest atom, or it will squeeze the bond length. Okay, so shorter bond length means higher bond energy or higher bond stability. So second reason is the sp2 hybridization state of the carbon. Third step is inability or instability of phenyl carbocation. Okay, we have seen that in SN1 mechanism, that what happens when we remove this halogen atom, a positive charge appears here. Okay, a carbocation is formed, and in the next step nucleophile is added. If the same thing is going to happen in benzene, what will happen? If we remove the halogen, there will be a positive charge on this benzene ring. Now, phenyl carbocations are highly unstable. Okay, they are unstable. They cannot get stabilized. Inability or instability. Okay, and what happens in we have seen that benzyl carbocations are very stable. And why benzyl carbocations are very stable? Because in benzyl carbocation there is a scope of resonance. Due to resonance, the benzyl carbocation gets stabilized. But here we cannot use resonance to stabilize it. Okay, because we have to move this double bond to the atom. It will, it will balance the positive charge, but subsequently the positive charge will appear on the next carbon. So we won't be able to get rid of this positive charge in this structure. Okay, so phenyl carbocations are very, very unstable. So since the carbocation, that means intermediate, is very, very unstable, it cannot form, or it is difficult to form that intermediate. Okay, so it's the third reason. And the last reason is repulsion. Okay, now your electrostatic classes are going on, and you have seen that negative charges attracts positive charges, and negative charges or like charges repel each other, and unlike charges attract each other. Now what is happening? Benzene has a lot of pi electron in it. Okay, benzene has 3 double bonds. Okay, 3 double bonds shows that there are lots of pi electron inside. Actually benzene is a super rich in electron. It's this electron rich molecule. Okay, and we will see that the electron rich, just because benzene is electron rich, it has a special ability to undergo electrophilic substitution. Okay, so it is electron rich, that means electron density is higher here. We know that nucleophiles are generally negatively charged, or they are also electron rich. Okay, now just imagine a situation where electron rich species is trying to attack electron rich species. So it will obviously feel repulsion. Okay, whenever the nucleophile will approach, it will feel repulsion, repulsive forces. So it's difficult to substitute here. Okay, so now we got 4 reasons why nucleophilic substitution is very, very difficult in aryl halides. Okay, now so we know that it's difficult, but is it impossible? So no, it's not impossible. There are few alkyl halides which shows nucleophilic substitution, but we need extreme conditions. Like suppose if we have chlorobenzene, then we need 663 kelvins and 300 atmospheric pressure. Okay, I forgot to write the nucleophile. Okay, and if I take OH, that means I can take NaOH, okay, sodium hydroxide, then it can replace the chlorine from here. That means to get this reaction, we have to force it. The conditions are extreme. We need high temperature and high pressure. That means we are forcing this reaction, to happen. Whenever we have extreme conditions, or we have, we are using catalyst or energy or pressure, it shows that reaction is difficult. Okay, it's not happening automatically or simultaneously or by itself. We are forcing it to happen, or we are helping it to happen. But we will see that if we make few changes in this molecule, the reaction will occur a bit easier, okay, or easily. Suppose I substitute a nitrate or NO2 group at ortho position or even para position, and then I use sodium hydroxide, then we will see that just because of this nitrate or NO2, the reaction condition changed. We don't need any pressure, extra pressure now, and even the temperature has reduced. We used 663 kelvins, that means around, around 400 degrees centigrade in the first reaction when there was no NO2, and now we are using 200 degrees centigrades lesser. Okay, so we are using a less intense environment for this reaction. And suppose, let's see, I make few more changes. Suppose I substitute it with 3 nitrate, okay, 3 NO2 groups at ortho and para position, and what we see that just warming with water is sufficient. Just warming with water will be sufficient to replace the chlorine. That means what we are observing here, we can observe that as we introduce more and more nitrate or NO2 molecules in the benzene ring, the substitution is becoming easier. Okay, and why is that? Why the introduction of nitrate is making our substitution easy? So to know this answer, we will first try to see the mechanism of the reaction. Okay, so I have already written the mechanism here. Okay, it's not complete mechanism. I will write the remaining steps in the coming step. So what happens in the first step? We have and be careful when you see this these resonating structures in your NCERT book. When you will go through your NCERT book, you will see that there are 3 or 4 different resonating structures. Okay, but I will teach you a single structure, and I will let you understand that how can you draw all those resonating structures without memorizing. You don't need to memorize them. If you know these steps, you just have to introduce a simple NO2 and you will be able to draw all those 3 or 4 resonating structures by yourself. You don't need to memorize them. Okay, so what is the actual mechanism? So in the first step, and the first step is the slow step. Okay, so in the slower step, what will happen? See, I have drawn an arrow like this. Okay, so if this pi electron, and this pi electron is shared by, it has 2 electrons shared between this carbon and this carbon. Okay, so what will happen, as soon as we take this electron here, this carbon will lose an electron, so it will get a positive charge, and this electron, this carbon will gain an electron, so it will get a negative charge. Okay, since the arrow is moving towards the next carbon. Now, as soon as this carbon becomes positive, the nucleophile can attack this carbon. Okay, because nucleophile goes to the positive part. Okay, so it will attack this carbon, and we will get our first intermediate. Okay, this is the intermediate, and in the intermediate, what will happen? This carbon will have hydroxyl as well as chlorine. Okay, and see that this intermediate is not like SN2 intermediate. In SN2 intermediate, the intermediate has had 5 different atoms. That's why we have retained the nucleophile and halogen with a dotted line. Okay, there was not a solid bond, but here we are using solid bonds because the valency of carbon has not been, we have not considered or made any changes to the primary valency of carbon. It is 4 only here. Okay, now see, so this structure has a negative charge. Okay, and if any molecule has a formal charge on it, then we know that this is that structure is not stable. So now, in order to get its stability, what it can do, it can undergo a resonance. Okay, so these are the resonance structures. I have drawn too many resonance structure for you in the previous classes, in class 11, even in the last video lecture. So the same step, that means atom to bond, bond to atom, in the next step then this atom to bond and bond to atom, and so on. So you can keep on writing these structures, and finally if we try to get 3 lines means resonance hybrid structure. If we try to get a resonance hybrid structure out of it, what we will get? We will get a structure like this. Okay, and let me use another color for it. We will get a negative. Okay, that means what the resonance structure tells us? It tells us that negative charge inside the ring is not static. It has been spread throughout the ring by resonance. Because of the resonance, the negative charge has been spread. Okay, and I told you earlier that when we spread the electron, it reduces its energy. Okay, just remember the example I told you, that you have a rice in cooker, you take that out and spread it. What will happen? It will cool down easily. It will cool down easily. Okay, the rice in cooker remains hot for long time, and when you spread it, its energy gets reduced. The same kind of thing is happening here. Once you spread the electron, you give more space to the electrons, it will reduce its energy. Okay, so this is how resonance reduces its energy. And once the potential energy is reduced, it's stable. Okay, this thing I have also told you, because you have to keep these things in mind, that everything is trying to reduce its potential energy. I have told you, suppose this is at height h, you just drop it, it is going down, not just because of the gravitation, it also means that it is reducing its potential energy. Everything will reduce its potential energy, and in chemistry even our atoms and molecules are doing the same thing. They are trying to minimize their energy somehow, and resonance helps in doing so. Okay, but now this resonance hybrid structure is our crucial step. Now just think that what is the issue here? The issue is this negative charge. Okay, somehow if I can reduce this negative charge, or if I can take out that negative charge, if I can balance this negative charge, I'll be able to stabilize this structure, isn't it? So from this step, our prime purpose is to get rid of this negative charge. Okay, so suppose just imagine it like a balloon. Inside the balloon we have a liquid. So what kind of syringe, you know, the injection syringe, what kind of syringe is needed, which can suck out the liquid or which can pump the liquid in? We need something to suck out. That means we need anything which can suck this negative charge out. Minus I effect. That means if we introduce any group which is sufficiently capable of performing negative inductive effect, that means minus I effect, then it will be able to pull out this excess electron charge. And if it can pull out the excess electron charge, it will help in its stability. And we know nitrate is one of them. Nitrate, that means NO2 group is a very good minus I effect producing group. So once I introduce NO2 here or here or here or all the three positions, what will happen? It will pull out the excess charge. It will pull the excess charge by minus effect, and it will reduce the density, negative charge density, and further it will stabilize it. Now there's one more question. And the question is, I selectively substituted the nitrate groups at ortho and para positions. I didn't take nitrate at the meta position. Why? So the answer is in the resonance structure only. If you look at these three structures carefully, you will see that no matter how you draw the resonance structure, you will get negative charge always at either ortho or para position. You draw it, you try it in any way possible, and you will get the negative charge appearing selectively at either ortho position or the para position. That means though negative charge has been spread throughout the ring, but its density around ortho and para position is higher. Okay, but its density around ortho and para position is higher. So it's something like, you know, our day-to-day life. It's our day-to-day life question. Okay, you want to get something. Okay, suppose you want to buy a pen. Where will you go? You will go to the stationery shop. You will not go to the chemist shop. Okay, well, some chemists may keep pens. Okay, there are some chemists who, you know, keep pens for selling, but the higher probability is where? The higher probability is at, you know, some stationery shop. So we will go to stationery shop. So similarly, the highest density is at ortho and para. So it's better to introduce a negative I effect group at ortho or para position. It will be more effective. Okay, at meta position, it will reduce, you know, it will reduce the negative charge density, but not that effectively. Okay, at ortho and para position it is more effective. Okay, and now coming to the question that how you will draw the resonating structures which are being given at in your NCERT books. So what they did, they just, you know, these three structures, if you can check that these three structure remains the same. They just did what? Once they have put nitrate at the para position, and in another drawing they put the nitrate at ortho position. So if you know these three steps of resonance, you can draw you know, the ortho substituted and the para substituted benzene also. Okay, so I hope you understood the substitution mechanism. Oh, I forgot to write down the last part. I will write it down. So I hope you understood that why the substitution is difficult at the first case, and then how we can get rid of these difficulties by substituting nitrate. Okay. Now, so we got this. The thing was like this. We had a negative charge here, and we had hydroxyl, and we had a chlorine. From the from the first step, actually the first step was like this, chlorine, and we added hydroxyl. Okay, and this was slow step. It attacked here. Okay, because it shifted here, so it attacked. We got this. In next step, what will happen? The chlorine will leave and the negative charge will again get here, and we will get our final product. Okay, this will be the final product, and this step will be the fastest step. So definitely this is the rate determining step, and since rate determining step involves the benzene molecule, so the stability of that intermediate matters in this reaction. Okay, now we will move to our next part, and the next part is electrophilic substitution. We have already discussed in class 11 that what are electrophils. So electrophils are E positive, that means any molecule which is electron deficient, which has a low density of electron, or sometimes positive, most of the time positively charged species are called electrophils. So now these electrophils will do what? They will attack benzene ring and will go through electrophilic substitution. Okay. Why electrophilic substitution is very easy in haloarenes or in any arenes, that means aromatic compounds? Because the aromatic compounds are electron rich species. Since they have very high density of electron inside the ring, the electrophil tend to attack it. Okay, due to the shake of high electron density. Okay, so we will again follow just what we followed in class 11. I'm again writing it down for you, but if you have if you try to go through your class 11 notes, you will find it, but I will write it again because maybe you have lost it, or you are no longer using that book. So I will write down few reagents, and I will tell you the name of the electrophil. Okay, and then we will use this list to predict the reaction. Okay, so if the reaction is HNO3 in presence of concentrated sulfuric acid, okay, this is first reagent. The electrophil is NO2 positive. Second, concentrated sulfuric acid itself, then the electrophil is HSO3 positive. If any halogen is the reagent in presence of FeX3 or AlX3, then X positive is our electrophil. And last, oh no, it's not last. If Rx in presence of AlX3 is the reagent Rx, AlX3, then R. That means alkyl group is our Alkyl group is our electrophil, and this reaction I have told you earlier. Then when we use this particular reagent, we call it, let's use another color, Friedel-Crafts alkylation. Okay, so this use of this reagent means or make this the reaction a named reaction, and the reaction is called Friedel-Crafts alkylation. We have one more reagent, and that reagent is, fifth reagent is RCOX in presence of AlX3. Okay, and it will connect. You have to just keep in mind that it will not connect through this carbon, it will get connected through this carbon, that carbon which is connected to the double bonded oxygen. And this reaction has also a particular name. This is called Friedel-Crafts acylation. Okay, the last one was alkylation because alkyl group was attached or used as electrophil, and in this reaction, since this group is called acyl group and acyl group will get attached, so this is called Friedel-Crafts acylation. So we have one Friedel-Crafts alkylation and one acylation. We will use these reagents and electrophils in our next video. We will see how we can predict electrophilic reactions. Okay, thank you.